Tom here from IT Contracting, and welcome back to our video series on all things IT and recruitment related in Ireland. So again, coming to the end of the year 2019, Brexit still hasn't happened, much to a lot of people's delight and maybe to some people's slight consternation, but we're going to round up what we have seen in 2019 in terms of trends in jobs and IT roles, and what perhaps we might see in 2020. So what did we see generally in 2019? Well, demand in some areas such as cybersecurity, which we saw in 2018 and 2017, still continues to remain really high. We're going to see probably more of that in 2020, especially around compliance and regulation, more policy driven maybe, but maybe that could be related to Brexit and what happens there. But we've obviously seen an increase in that area, a lot of emerging threats on the cybersecurity scene, a lot in the news on that side. So we expect to see that demand continue as it has done in 2019. Overall, we've seen demand in areas such as systems administration, network engineering, technical support, desktop support, remain pretty steady, and we don't see a particular change to that in 2020. And overall, we've seen good levels of requirements for project managers and IT architects, solutions architects. Where we've seen maybe just a slight decrease, maybe continuing a bit of a trend is for the senior level roles of IT management, head of IT, IT director. But of course, those roles are always going to be slightly less mainstream and in demand, simply because there's going to be fewer of them. Where we have seen an interesting increase in demand is in particular related to cloud platform development and automation, more in relation to Windows Microsoft technologies. So Microsoft's DevOps tools, for example, we've seen quite an increase in companies looking for people with expertise in those areas, and specific Microsoft technologies such as SharePoint, Office 365 and Dynamics CRM, particularly related to projects where companies might be looking to upgrade, but also where we've seen migrations more to off-prem technologies, so cloud-based technologies, and companies looking quite considerably towards Azure. Not that we've seen AWS drop off a huge amount, but Microsoft Azure does seem to just be garnering a little bit more of interest, and specifically technologies in the Microsoft stack, expertise in those areas has been a bit more in demand. In relation to contract versus permanent, it's been fairly even. No particular area has seen a major demand increase. We've probably seen, as per 2017, 2018, as the economy continues to do well, companies have a bit more permanent headcount. So we've just seen maybe a slight advantage if you're looking in the permanent market than contracting. And in regards to permanent versus contract, I expect to see something fairly similar as 2019. Permanent maybe still slightly in favour as the economy continues to do pretty well, but as with all things, it's economically driven. So when things can take a downturn or there's a little bit less confidence in the market, we can see that demand for contract roles go up as companies maybe roll back on full-time employment and investment in those areas, but projects continue, IT continues, so obviously the work needs to continue and people are needed in those areas. So we might see a bit more contract demand. There could be a little bit more uncertainty over Brexit, and hopefully one way or another we'll know where we stand. More on that in 2020, but overall we expect to see quite similar to 2019. So what do we expect to see in 2020? Well, as I said at the beginning of the video, cybersecurity, information security continues to be a major demand area. Probably going to be maybe see a slight difference in that. It's maybe got a little bit steadier, but that could all change with a little bit more compliance and regulation coming in over perhaps if Brexit happens. Business analysis, in particular smart business analytics and AI, could start to become a lot more mainstream than we have seen. Typically these have been relatively niche areas internal to companies, specifically in that area or specializing in that area. But I think we'll start to see more roles related to AI, Internet of Things, than we might have seen before, coming on more mainstream. And as I mentioned in regards to trends we've seen in 2019, especially around cloud technologies, I expect to see continued demand and increased demand in expertise around cloud platform development and automation. And where we mentioned that Microsoft Azure's cloud has seen quite steady increase in demand, we could see something around Google's cloud as they ramp up investment to continually compete with AWS and Microsoft in that area. So that concludes our roundup of what we've seen in 2019 and perhaps what we look to see in 2020. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed our video series throughout the year. Please like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications if you're watching this on YouTube, and we hope to see you all again in 2020. Thank you.